Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Tara T. I do crochet vlogs, market days, tutorials, and all kinds of stuff here on my YouTube channel at Old Soul Factory. I'm also on Etsy, TikTok, and Instagram if you guys want to go follow me on there as well. All of my socials will be linked down in the bio. But what I'm here for today, first off, I want to take a huge moment to appreciate the new setup. As you can see, I'm filming in the new setup for my first full video. I just posted my yarn office makeover video if you want to go check that out. I have 2 posts going up in 1 week. Look at me, who am I? I'm so excited to be bringing you though my market inventory list that I have for this upcoming market on the 6th, which is only this weekend. So I need to get this video out to you guys so you know exactly what I'm working on and exactly what I'm bringing into this market. So I'm gonna give you a literal rundown of what I made for this market. I have talked about this in my past market inventory video, but this is literally how I like to do my inventory before every market. I write down my categories, which is the smalls, the mediums, and then the larges, and then my bin items here at the bottom. So you can see all of that here. It's literally nothing crazy. We'll get to all the totals and the prices too in a minute, and I'll talk about them as I go, why I priced them like that, what kind of patterns I'm using, if these items are new, if I changed prices since the last market, and those kind of things too. That way you know all of the details of exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. I have 4 categories for all of my markets. I have minis, I have smalls, I have mediums, and I have large/jumbos. I can't decide which one to call it, so I end up calling it both. So if I say one or the other, it's the same category, I promise. So my mini categories are my $5, my $7, and my $8 bin items. Me and my mom do all of our craft shows together. She is Stacy Makes here on YouTube, so you can go check her out as well and see what she's bringing to this market with me. But we both have bin items where we don't tag them all individually. It's the only items that we don't tag individually, but we keep them in bins separated from each other. That way we know exactly what they are. And usually it's like mostly this item's all 5, this item's all 7, this item's all 8, and we can keep a pretty good idea of which baskets those were in, and we have enough time between customers to resort those in case they get mixed up. So I'll hop right into that. This is my minis category. Of course, we're going to start with the $5 bin items. I have the most in this category this time. My bins are stuck together. I have the most in this category this time. Like I said, these are the $5 bin items. I use the same few patterns for this. My mom does different things as well. I have this thick frog pattern. I talked about it in my last video as well. I got it off of Etsy, and he came with like a little swing that he can sit into, or a little basket, not a swing, sorry. And I haven't made one of the baskets yet, but I only have 1 left of these, or sorry, I have 2 left of these after my last market. I charged $5 for both the Bernat and the Sweet Snuggles Light versions though. I had like 10 or 12 of these at one point. I probably need to make a couple more because these have been really popular since kids found out that you can turn them around and he has a little butt crack. They think it's hilarious, and I do too, honestly. So I need to work on making some more of these. Next one, which is pretty much what everybody does, is octos. I still have a couple octos. I have 5 octos left from my last market. These are always a good seller, something quick and easy for people to grab, and everybody loves a good octo. I still have this cute little mini squid. He hasn't found a home yet, but I did make bigger squids, which I'll get to, and they sold pretty well as well. So I wonder if that's why, since he's mixed into all these $5 bin items, sometimes a couple items get lost from show to show. And I feel like this guy just keeps getting lost. He's gonna find his person though, I'm telling you. This little guy's gonna find his home, okay? Again, these are all $5 bin items. I ended up having 8 items, which totaled up to $40 for my $5 bin, which is actually pretty good for me. I would like to note really quick that these are not the bins that I actually keep them in at the markets. If you look at my past market day video, you'll see that we have like little black bins that are like this big, about this big, about this deep, that you can fit tons of stuff in. And we have like a whole shelf that's like 5s, a whole shelf that's usually 7s, and a whole shelf that's 8s. And so it's really easy to keep those separated like I mentioned. So here is my $7 items. We still haven't sold these two little guys, probably because these are bigger than the $5 ones, and these eyes are more expensive since they're bigger, and I think people just gravitate towards the smaller ones anyways, and why pay $2 more for an octo. But he's bigger and he did take more time, and he's stuffed a little bit thicker too, but he has a bigger pattern. And so these guys are $7. And then I still have a little baby fish that didn't sell last time because, again, I think he got kind of hidden in the basket too. So this is like the basket I really like to throw a lot of my stuff in that like I tried once but didn't really like, or I tried once, I know I'm not going to get my monies out of it, or it hasn't sold in a while, so I kind of throw them in here. Like I tried this one, I didn't like this pattern personally for me, and so I'm going to just throw them in the $7 bin. I ended up having 3 $7 items, so that was 21 items for the $7 bin, and then we'll move on to the $8 bin. Okay, my $8 bin is really weird, okay? You cannot judge me for the things that you will find in this basket. This is, again, like, if I had more color changes on a pattern that I tried and I didn't like, or that hasn't sold in a while, they get put into this bin, and so I have quite a few in this bin, I'm not gonna lie. A big one for me is these little cup cuddlers. These cup cuddlers have done so well in the past, and so I'm very excited to still have some of these. I need to make more of them. I keep selling the purple ones and the brown ones, and then I keep forgetting to make more of them because I end up focusing on all the big stuff I sold out of. So I do have 3 cup cuddlers left. They do have tags on them because they were for $8, and I was putting them in a little like cup koozie holder, like you get from McDonald's. If you get so many drinks, you know, they give you the little cup holder thing. And so I had gotten one of those from McDonald's and put them in there, and they sold a lot better in there, I'm not gonna lie, but we just didn't have enough room in our last setup, so they end up getting thrown in the $8 bin usually to just fill up some space too, so it's not a big deal. So I have 3 of those. I have this love snail. It was a free pattern on Instagram. I can't remember who it's by off the top of my head, but I talked about it in my Valentine's Day free patterns video. If you want to go look at that, it has a link directly to the pattern. This cute little guy, I had him for $12, and he's just such a random item, he's not going to get found, and so you might as well put him in the $8 bin, which is what the rest of these items really are. So I have this love snail for $8 as well. I have this cute little yarn scrap bird that we had made in our last video. I absolutely love this guy. I want to make more of these so bad, and I think that's what I'm going to end up doing in my free time this week, because I checked all my other inventory and I didn't have a lot of holes in my inventory. So if I do anything this week, maybe I'll just do some of these so I don't have to tag them or anything, and I can throw them into a bin, which is what is really nice about having these bin items too. That's typically also what I work on while I'm at markets, are bin items or my snakes that I'll show you, because they're super easy to make. They don't take a lot of stuffing, they don't take a lot of time, and it's something to just replenish those bins. Plus, if you're making something in the time that somebody comes by and they can see that it's like half made, and then it's like it's pretty quickly and easily done, they can see that you finished it if they come back later in the show too. It's always really cool to show that process too to your customers as well. So this little guy is in the $8 bin. The other scrap project we had was this little axolotl. This is my mom's pattern Stacy makes, and I just love this little guy so much. He's so cute. I always hate getting rid of these guys because they're like one of the cutest little things to me. I just want to pinch the little cheeks. They're so cute. Okay, anyways, sorry. I also have this little pie turtle. He was 12 at one point. I haven't sold him, and I've had him for several markets now. And so people love to talk about him though. So he usually goes on the top of the $8 pile, because then people talk about him and they'll find him and they think he's just so adorable. And so I do have this little guy for $8 in the $8 bin. I might end up scrapping him because he was literally one of the first things I made. And the more and more I look at him, the more and more I don't like him though. Okay, if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this one on my story. I tried a pattern. Actually, I tried winging a pattern and I didn't end up liking it. So this is going in the $8 bin. I call him my little groovy cow. He's kind of hard to tell that he is a cow. There was a stackable animals pattern on Instagram that I found, and I like changed half of it to try to make something that would work better for me. And this ended up being the pattern that I ended up coming up with. He is so cute though, and I love him so much. So literally though, if somebody picks him up and is like, oh my gosh, is this a bear? I'm gonna be like, yeah, it's a bear. It's just one of those items that you can't really quite tell what it is. So he's going in the $8 bin, even though he's so cute and he's so adorable. And I know what he is. I don't think other people will, but I still want to see if I can sell him. So I'm going to throw him in the $8 bin just for fun. So total for the $8 bin, that's 8 items in the $8 bin, which is a tongue twister. But we have $64 in inventory in the $8 bin. Next, we have our small category. I like to categorize my small category as anything that is $10 to $15 range. This includes several of my items that I like to make in bulk that are still smaller. So I'll show you a couple of those really quickly, and then again, we'll go over some prices. Okay, the most expensive thing in my small category is, I keep hitting my desk. I'm really bad about that up here, I guess. The biggest thing in my small category is Tofu the turtle. I love to make these little guys. I've talked about them in my last couple videos, so I don't want to talk about them too much. This pattern is by Megs Makes Crochet, or Megs Makes Patterns on Etsy, and you can get this little Tofu the turtle. If you make him in Sweet Snuggles Light, he's like the perfect like $8 bin item probably. But I like to make them with burlap because they turn out bigger, and then I feel like I can charge more once they're bigger like that. So this is Tofu the turtle. I'm charging $15 for my tofus like that are this size. Again, I didn't make any in a smaller size though, but my mom, whenever she makes them in Sweet Snuggles Light, I believe she likes to charge $12 for those. So we do charge a little bit less, but I am mostly a burlap girly. So I have $15 for my tofus, and I ended up making 2 of these. They're right back up there. I've shown them in a past video too. I ended up having 2 of these. I had 4 total at one point, and I had sold 2 of them. I love this pattern, and I need to go back and make them again. And that's the great thing about making your market inventory like this, is you get to see all of your items. And even though I haven't made those squids in probably a month, I made all 4 at the same time, and I made them about a month and a half ago probably. You kind of forget about the patterns that you have, and so I love looking through my inventory, and this is one of those items that I was like, man, I need to make more of those. So it was a free squid pattern on Instagram by Amager Morgan. I can never say that name because it's so complicated to me. But it was a free squid pattern on Instagram that I had found, and I've talked about it in previous videos as well. I charged $12 for those, and I make some of them with the baby safe eyes, like the embroidered eyes on there. That way it's another option for those newer moms as well, for like their little bitty kiddos as well, which is amazing. Another big item of mine that I binge made this time are mushy boys. I decided that this is going to be my first outdoor market, so I wanted to make some extra mushy boys for any of those nature lovers that'll be showing up to this market. These are mushy boys. They're all over Instagram as always. Most of you people probably know about them. They're chunky mushrooms by Chunky Crochet on Instagram. Also a free pattern. I love free patterns if you can't tell. I charged $10 for my mushy boys, and I made 11 of these mushy boys for my market. I made them, you can see them back there, they're all just chilling. I made them in all kinds of colors, like a whole rainbow. I only make them in Sweet Snuggles Light, except for one I made in Bernat, but I charged $10 for all of them. I love the size, I love the texture, I love embroidering the little dots on the little caps of these mushrooms too. So they're super adorable. I've brought them to a market before, and I've only sold a couple so far, but these have sold really well in my antique market booth that I also have, and I do some like random restocks in. So after this market, I usually take like half of the mushy boys I have, and I drop them off in there to be sold since they sell so well. That's why I made so many of them this time too. Like I said, I made 11, which is like the most of any item that I'm going to be bringing to this market, which is kind of crazy. So just mushy boys, again, super adorable, super easy to make. My next item is chickens. I think chickens sell really well for me at markets because we live in kind of like a small rural area, and lots of people have chickens, love chickens, raise chickens, all that kind of stuff. And we've done farmers markets as well, and so chickens typically do pretty good for us. I ended up making 7 chickens. This is what I prepped over the weekend while I was gone. I like to prep the bodies, and then I can sew on the combs and the beaks later. And so I prepped a lot of these. I charged $10 for my chickens. And again, I made 7 of these for this market. I also make those in both Burnout and Sweet Snuggle Light, but I charge the same price for them because it takes the same amount of time too as well. The next thing I have in my small category is leggy frogs. I've talked about these lots of times. Everybody's made a leggy frog, I feel like. So I do have leggy frogs in my collection. I have 7 leggy frogs in my collection. I also have all my leggy frogs listed in my Etsy down in the description as well. These cute little guys are so adorable. I love their little flailing arms. Ignore the tags, but their little flailing arms are so stinking adorable. I have tons of colors too on my Etsy shop as well if you're interested in those. Again, I have 7 of these leggy frogs. I've only sold a couple leggy frogs. I think they're kind of on their way out of the Crochet Trends at markets, so I've been not prepping as many of them. And so if you don't see as many of those in my next videos, it's probably because I sold these and I haven't made a lot more of them since, unless I'm stocking my Etsy store probably. The last thing I have, and I will always rave about, is snakes. I just did a video last week on this pattern and I linked it. It's like a random blog post for this snake pattern, but I have several of my snakes right back up here. I make them on all kinds of colors. I always make them in Sweet Snuggles light yarn though, and I charge $10 for those. It takes me about a half an hour. It's been taking me a little bit longer lately because a lot of them that I've been making have been using scrap yarn, and so I've been tying like the scrap pieces in together as I go, and so it does take a little bit longer, or I'm like adding stripes to a lot of them, so they have been taking a little bit longer. But I charge $10 for those though, and they're a great fidget toy, and that's how I market them. And so people love to pick them up and play with them at our booths, which is usually how they sell so well as well. So that's everything in the small category that I typically bring to markets. Again, that's anything from $10 to $15 range. And I ended up having a total of $364 worth of inventory in this small category. The bin items, the mini items always sell the best, and this is probably my second best category ever. Actually, I think the last market my small category did even better than my bin items. So I always try to stock up in this category. Like I said, I can make these things in bulk pretty easily and market prep them very well and efficiently. And so I really like to make these items. So I have several of them in several different colors. And so I have $364 worth. It's actually quite a bit, honestly, and I'm very excited to bring a lot of these to my market. The only new thing I'll be bringing in my market to this category is the Tofu the Turtle. But again, my mom's brought these to markets before, and the turtles are always a good seller for us for some reason. And so that's the only new item I actually have in this category, but everything else sells pretty well. Again, except for the leggy frogs. I have not sold a lot of those for some reason. Next, we have our medium category. Again, this is anything that's like $16 to $25 for me. Again, my obsession lately has been these loaf cats by Annie Carway Art. I absolutely adore these guys. Get this little tag out of his face. I adore these guys. I ended up making 6 total of these. I wouldn't be surprised if you see more of these for me in the future, especially after I see how well they sell at this show. I made 6 of these. They're all different colors. There's one in Sweet Snuggles Light, but I still went ahead and charged the same amount since it had specialty yarn and it had color changes of a yarn I can't find anymore either. So he's also still $20. But these guys are the perfect little cuddly creature. He's almost like a pillow. He's so stiff. I love him so much. I'm really excited to see how these sell at my market, since again, I haven't brought them to a market yet, but I've heard great things, so we'll see how these do at my next market. The next thing we have is my koi fish. He's hiding in my setup somewhere. I don't remember where I put him, to be honest, but I've talked about him several times in the past. I sold one of my koi fish at the last show, and it was actually to one of the market vendors, like coordinators actually, And my mom went to go like fill out her form and turn it back in for next year, and she was literally like sitting there with it on her chest, just like cuddling it and petting it. It was so cute to hear, and I'm so glad that she loved it so much. So I have one more pink one left, and that's the last koi fish I have. I don't know if I'm gonna make any more of those in the future because they are quite a few pieces to sew on and stuff. If I do, I want to charge a little bit more, but it's just one of those items that's kind of niche, so it would be harder to charge more, I feel like. So I might not make a whole lot of those in the future, but the more summertime rolls around, we'll just have to wait and see if that might be a good item to bring, since it's kind of summery, I feel like. So we'll just have to wait and see on that one. The next one we have is my sleepy dragon. He's so adorable. I still have a couple of these left. I ended up actually having 3 of my pattern. This is Stella the Sleepy Dragon. Also, it's in my Etsy if you want the pattern for this little guy. It's in the description down below, so you can get him from my Etsy shop. Oh, I almost dropped him. I have several different colors. They're so fun to customize. I still have the plain one, this one, and a purple and pink one I made. And then I have another dragon from somebody else that I went ahead and listed under this category because I'm also charging $25 as well for that one. I'm very excited to see how these do. It'll be the first time I'll bring them to market in my own town, but they're always a conversation starter, I feel like, and people just pick them up and pet them and cuddle them. They're so cute and they're so easy to love on, so I'm very glad about these. Refined Vibes actually just bought one of my dragons too, and I'm so glad she bought the pink one with the spikes on its back, and I went ahead and sent her the little posh one, the little baby one, because she has a little wall of cute things and cute little mini things, and it just fit on there so perfectly, so I wanted her to have that one. And so I got rid of him, so I don't have as many of them as I did last time, but I'm very excited. I also have these listed at my Etsy shop as well, and I'll have to update that in case I sell any of these at my market, but I can always make more, of course, so I'm very excited about these. The next thing I have is I have one random cake that I had made off a free Instagram pattern. I'm charging $18 for that. It's such a random item as well, so I'm not going to get it out, but I charged $18 for him. And then the last thing I have in this category is my honey bunny pattern that I like to make. This is actually a free pattern off of Instagram by, I can't remember who makes this pattern. I'm so sorry. I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't remember. I talked about it in one of my previous videos if you want to look back and try to find it. I'm pretty sure I talked about it for my spring pattern video, so it's probably linked down there if you need it. But it was a free pattern on Instagram. I do modify it a little bit to where I don't have to sew on the head, and that I sew the arms into the body as well to make it a little quicker and easier to make. But I only have one left. I sold the other, I think I had 3 at the last market, and some little, sorry, I'm having camera difficulties this time, I guess. That was all of our medium items. I ended up having $278 in this category total, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm very excited for the new loaf cat that I will be bringing to the market for the first time, as I mentioned. I have lots of colors of these. They're hiding back here in this little corner, as you can see. I post these a lot on my TikToks lately, and I've been making them on TikTok Live a lot. So if you've been tuning in there, I appreciate you, and you've been seeing those happen. But yeah, that's my $16 to $25 category. And now let's jump into the large category. I have several new things in this category for me. I have the Tulip the Turtle, which I just talked about in my last video as well. I'm so sorry, it's kind of repetitive because I like to post everything I've been making on here. But Tulip the Turtle is also by Megs Makes Patterns on Etsy. I love her so much. She's an amazing human being, and I made 2 of her turtles, and I did that while I was at my mom's house, my last vlog video. And you can go check that out too. I'm gonna be charging $30 for those because they do have glitter eyes, and they do take like an hour and a half-ish. So I'm charging for $30 for those. Again, turtles are selling really well, so I'm feeling really good about bringing those. The other thing I'm bringing, which I've brought before to markets, but it's been a while for me, is a cow. I have this cute little Dreamland burnout mixed cow. He's pretty adorable. He's gonna be $30 as well because he is a large item for me. I thought about charging 34, but that just felt weird because I only do increments of like 5 usually. 25 definitely wasn't enough. 35 was too much, so I just landed right in the middle at 30. He's so cute. I need to make more cows, honestly. My mom made several, I know, for this market though, so I was like, I need to take it easy on the cows. So he's really adorable. Got little pink eyes. This is by the pattern by Mom Stitch Eddie, also on Etsy as well, a paid pattern, which I love him so much. And then my next item I have is this baby sea turtle. Look at him. He's so floppy. This is by Fred. This is Fred the Sea Turtle by CJ Designs, if I remember right. Look, he's even got a little tail. He's so cute. So I'm going to be bringing this one to my next market as well. He's just so floppy and adorable. I haven't made a pattern like this before. It's the only one that I've made. So I wanted to see how he ran, or how he sold first, and if 30 was a good price point for him first, and get some feedback on that before I made more of these, because they do take quite a bit of time even though it is a small item. I think if I made them in Bernat, I would probably charge at least 35 for them, especially because he'd be bigger. He'll probably have glitter eyes, so I may even charge 40 for him, honestly. So I'm very excited. I love this color combo. This is Sweet Snuggles Light, that new Bloom Blossom, however you call it, yarn. And he's super adorable, charging 30 for him. And then the last item I have in my large category is this koala. I made him on live a couple nights ago. He's gonna be 25. I've got new little glitter eyes on him as well. Super adorable. This pattern is by Madeline Mayco on Etsy. I love her patterns so much. I have them all printed off in a binder, and I got onto live and I was like, I don't know what else to make, because I made everything I had patterns saved for, and my iPad died, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have a whole binder of her patterns printed out. I need to try something. So I hadn't made this koala yet before. He's so cute though. If he sells, I'm definitely going to be making more of them in more colors. I'm thinking like a little pink one would be really adorable too. So I'm very excited to bring him to a market for the first time as well. Like I said, this category is filled with a lot of new things, so I'm very eager to see how these sell compared to some of my more typical bestseller items, especially because it is a local market. So I know that like the price range will be a little bit lower probably in this area, since it is a rural community. So that was everything that I'm going to be bringing to my next market. I want to do a rundown of all of the prices again with you really quickly, so you can get a good idea of what my goals are for this market as well, and some of the changes that I will be making to help my items sell at my next market as well. So here is the rundown of everything, okay? So again, all of my categories, I have minis, and we had $125 worth of mini items. In the small category, we had $364 worth of inventory. In the medium category, we had $278 worth of inventory. And in the large category, I ended up having a total of $145 total. So with all of that in mind, I ended up having $912 worth of inventory. For this market in particular, I don't know. It's really hard to gauge how this market's gonna go. It is themed for the solar eclipse that's gonna be coming through our small town here in the Midwest. And so I know that there's gonna be some out-of-towners or extended family. It's supposed to be really busy and really packed all weekend, but also it's a small town market. So I'm not 100% sure what the real like outcome of people that are actually gonna show up to this market will be. We will be outdoors for the first time as well, which means our new addition to our setup will be a tent and weights, of course, because it's been really windy here lately. And so we'll have that whole process as well for you guys. I will get to show you a really cool banner that me and my mom actually helped make for the Albion Chamber of Commerce here in our small town. So you can see that too, and how we made that, which was really cool and really fun to make. My mom made most of it, and I helped with a cutout design for the banner of our local pagoda, which is kind of like our cornerstone for our town, kind of like our landmark that we're known for, which was really cool too. So I'll get to show you some footage after our market of that as well. So I don't know, usually, like I always say, I always try to make at least twice as much as I want to make. And so this case, I'm really thinking that I'll make around 425-ish, give or take. That would be the best case scenario, but again, if it's a small town market and it ends up being like that, crowd that comes through. I'm really thinking it'll be more like 200 at most for me, but it's still fun and still interactive, and it's so cool to be a part of such a big milestone in our town, which will be super fun. And I can't wait to show you guys all of that footage after the market. Again, my market's on April 6th. If you need any other market tips and stuff, I talked a lot about in my last video how I like to do my inventory and my prep. And some of the patterns that I just showed you, I talked about in there with links in my description on exactly who made those patterns, how long it took, and all the details if you wanted to go look into that. I've made several videos about my actual market days as well, and my market prep. If you want to go binge watch any of those, feel free. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps you decide what to start working on and inspires you just a little bit even. And I will keep you guys updated on how all of this goes, and I cannot wait to see you guys again. If you need me, you know where to find me, and I will see you guys later. Bye!